With the prayers of Holy Father, so Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us. Amen. Good evening. For those new here, my name is Father Joseph Swaden. I've worked in Orthodox apologetics since 1998 and the founder of NFTU, True Orthodox and Ecumenical News, since 2004. We've been in the apologetic space on Facebook since 2016 and on YouTube since 2018. And if you appreciate what we do here, please like and subscribe. Today we do our live Q&A session where you can get your questions answered live as well as member requested video reviews. So let's get started. And as always, if you want to jump on stream to ask a question or make a comment or issue a challenge, just click the link at the top of the chat or click the StreamYard link in the chat on X or the StreamYard link in the chat on Odyssey. Let's see here. I'll be taking super chats. Primarily from the YouTube chat because that's the one I'm most familiar with. I don't know how they do things on X or Odyssey with that anymore. And if you want your question or comment without super chatting, I'll answer it, but you might miss it if I don't put it up. Today I actually started with I got a couple of requests about a stream that was done by I guess Cleave to Antiquity, the streamer formerly known as Pastor Ben, with another discussion with well, actually it's funny you said that, Ortho Adjust, because I was just starting to talk about it. Hold on. Okay, I'm seeing comments. The comments were there. Hold on. Reader John with a member chat. Father bless, God bless you, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Ortho just says, hi, Father, do you have a chance to review Cleave to Antiquity's show I sent you? Yeah, I'm talking about it right now. Okay, so the point is the pastor formerly known, the streamer formerly known as Pastor Ben, who's become a World Orthodox streamer, is being catechized. He had Father Dr. Ananias Sorum on his show before, and I guess that went well enough that he did another one. And of course, a similar thing happened. This time around, however, they were much more adamant in terms of what they had to say about us, which gives us a much bigger opportunity to more clearly indicate where they're wrong. So let's get into that. And let's pull up that video. Give me one moment. Go here. Okay, so we're going to start around here. All right, so let's put this in the theater mode and let's share it. Hold on. Let's see here. Seth says, Father bless. May God bless you, Seth, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Let's get the screen up. And I'm gonna be a little, because I've been kind of soft on Ben for a while now. I know that he's, it's a conversion and he's going through a lot, but I really have to answer some misinformation this time. Like, it's gotten bad. It's got like they're now really misinformed, and it's getting really bad now. So let's put that on the screen and we will get started. One moment. Okay, we got it on the screen. Okay.
Appreciate it. Let's see. Every single stream we do together. every stream.
If you just look at Father Doctor's face, it's pretty freaking hilarious. While Ben's
every single stream we do together. every stream. Do you want me to grab this one? Because I kind of answered it last time with the
yeah, and then I'll say something at the end, but go ahead and take that.
Sure. With the True Orthodox question, I'll say this. In almost every schism, it's like a little bit of truth, a little bit of a whole lot of falsity. If you were to look at how the church was restored all throughout history, anytime there was some big crisis and how God's hand kind of played a part in the conflict, it was never to set up like parallel jurisdictions and to split off and to go and kind of do your own thing. And, now we're the actual true bishops of this territory, so on and so forth. That's never been how it was done in history. And there's no...
Well, speaking of that, uh, once again, I'm recommending this book, The History of Resistance, which contains hundreds of pages and countless examples of that actually occurring in history over and over again. Available on Amazon. Subdeacon Nectarius Harrison is the author, Orthodox Traditionalist Publications. So, Ben, I beg you, please read the book, because these are historically ignorant statements coming from historically ignorant people. And you're agreeing with them because you think they're right, but you really want to read the history on this. This you're wrong. Let's continue.
No canonical reason to do so either. They'll point to the 1983 Rokor anathemas when they were separated from the, I believe it's 1983 Rokor
No, that's right. It's 1983.
anathemas when they were separated from the MP at the time. And they'll say, well, look, these anathemas actually would anathematize Rokor itself, so on and so forth. Well, that would be true if those anathemas were not curtailed in the reunification documents with the MP. So there's no canonical reason for separation. It's just kind of like we don't like ABC 123 scandal or.
Okay, no, actually, what's happening here is Ben is basically misinterpreting again even recent history. The reason that the Moscow Patriarchate can't just unite with Rokor and say, well, we just got rid of the anathema against ecumenism is very simply because the MP was under the anathema of the Rokor. So they can't just be like, oh, well, this part of Rokor says it's not there, so it's not there. No, it's still there. The MP simply has no authority to remove that anathema because they were under that anathema, as well as other anathemas concerning Sergianism, so on and so forth, etc. So they don't have a right to do anything because of the fact that they're not canonically the church. Because you do not become canonical by property control. That's not how it works. Sorry, read the book. Let's go back.
There's like a stained glass, like hammer and sickle somewhere, so that justifies us setting up parallel jurisdictions. That's not accurate. That's not correct. I mean,
actually, it is correct, but the only way you would know that is if you actually knew the history, which I highly recommend reading this book, The History of Resistance. It will actually give you the history that you don't realize you don't have.
I mean, granted, there's a lot that could be said about ecumenism, so on and so forth, but I mean, you could also just fight that stuff from the inside. There's no reason to separate yourself from the church that Christ established in order to fight that kind of stuff.
That's another. Hold on, that's another problem. First off, you can't have it both ways. If you're supposed to flee from bishops who are disobedient to the truth, then you say, well, I'd like to stay under those bishops. Then you're fighting your bishops. In other words, you're doing the exact opposite of what Orthodox are supposed to do, which is obey their bishops. So you're between a rock and a hard place. You know that they're ecumenists, so you shouldn't obey them. But then you say you want to fight from within, but that means you're fighting them. So which is it? Do we have a complete anarchic structure of the church, or do we have a church with bishops obedient to the truth and people obedient to the bishops? I mean, the history of the church is pretty obvious on this one.
I recommend Father Peter Hears has done some videos on that. Also, Father John Whiteford addresses that, in which the canons that they refer to on that, like a lot of people.
I bet you money this guy hasn't watched any of Father Peter Hears' stuff on that sort of thing, nor has he read any of Father John Whiteford's paper on it. I can tell because of the stupid thing he's about to say now.
They cherry pick. They don't actually read on. It's not kind of contextualized. There is no historic precedent.
How many times, people? How many times?
They deny some of our most wonderful saints.
He's talking about Elder Paisius. We know he's talking about Elder Paisius because we know how this game goes.
And I also thought about too. I mean, it's kind of a self-defeating position. It's almost like this Protestant puritanicalism.
Oh,
like
brother.
if you look at it and touch it, now you're got the disease too, right?
Nobody looks at things this way. It's like they have some sort of weird fantasy version of what true orthodoxy is. It's like a parody.
It's like, well, if that's true, then there is no valid apostolic succession. Like we've all been like at some point touching, historically a heretical bishop before they're excommunicated. So the whole thing will.
No. This is like whole synods of heretics. We're not even talking like, oh no, we found a bishop somewhere. I always hear this argument. Well, there's like a couple of bad bishops. What happens when they're all bad bishops? Like, when do you start to say, okay, maybe I'm not in the church? Like, think that one through, guys. Think it through. I know it's hard, especially with the fantasy world you've created of us, but think it through, guys.
Crumble. Furthermore, if that's the way you deal with it, it really undermines synodality in the councils. Like,
okay, that's word salad. Let's continue on.
Why do we need them?
Mm-hmm.
And furthermore, it's just this kind of vague painted brush of what's the mechanism by which we determine a heresy serious enough to schism from?
If you haven't heard me complain about this before, allow me to do so once again. Schism is not a verb. It is a state. It is a noun. One cannot schism. One cannot schism, if you prefer that particular pronunciation. The term would be schismatize or schismatize. It would not be schism. That's like saying, that's like if you're saying I'm going to eat chicken, you say I'm a chicken or I'm going to chicken. It doesn't make sense. The verb and the noun placement are important in English. Jay Dyer and his friends have made English fantastically worse by making people dumber. I'm not going to chocolate bar. I'm going to eat a chocolate bar. I'm not going to schism. I'm going to go into schism. Actually, I'm not. They're going to go into schism, but at least they could say it right. Okay? So that's the first thing. Let me just get back to where I was before the doctor mangled English.
A heresy serious enough to schism.
Oh, that's right. A heresy serious enough. So we have like levels of heresy now. We have quantitational, there's quantificational levels to heresy. Like there's some false teaching that is healthy. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna get to comments for a little bit. Yeah, even Ben looks a little disappointed in that one. I mean, like he's like, oh wow, that's terrible. Okay, so let's go down. Where are we here? Father Joseph, would you say that when people play mind games, it's the same as using witchcraft since it's deceptive and occult? To a degree, I would say so. I would say that when you're using certain types of techniques and medications to control people, yeah, it is. Let's take a look here. Anderson Gonzalez says C2A blocked me when I sent him some Alpidophorus nonsense. Poor guy has gone full ortho. It's really shameful, and I guess we're going to see it in this video review. Jacob Clemens says, Father, do you think St. Augustine taught things that were wrong? I think St. Augustine himself thought that he taught things that were wrong, and I haven't studied him in enough detail, but I do know the church recognizes him as a saint. The councils recognize him as a saint, so yeah. Not Taylor Arden, John, Reader John. Oh yes, opportunities. I'm not sure what that means with. Balcomudgeon says never was done that way. Wow, hadn't considered that. Mind blown. Full-blown ortho bro is right. Moscow is a criminal organization. It's not a church. Very true. Father Boniface, benedicite. If you close your eyes, the anathema goes away. Also not administrative because it begs the question, why was row in communion with those you'd call schismatic? Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe this stuff. This is amazing. Orthodox traditionalists, the author of the book, The History of Resistance. Why do these non-historian idiots just think they can pontificate so confidently? Well, I'm not gonna be so harsh as to, I mean, they're wrong. They're really, really wrong. Let's see, traditional Western Orthodoxy Bishop Enoch says, to hear some people talk about it, St. Athanasius should have just accepted the so-called deposition against him and retired and write some articles and hope for the best. Instead, he went on setting up an opposition to the Arians who had control of the official church. Absolutely true. Jacob Clemens says Elder Paisi is the same guy commemorated Bartholomew. Absolutely, and thought he was a blessing. Yeah, Jelly Donut Autocrat says they have the OCZ version of what true orthodoxy is. I agree. And Bakamoto says, Orthodox Traditionalist says these guys are so dumb. Guy on left, and academic liar. Guy on right. This is cruel. This is cruel. It's Orthodox Traditionalist. Ortho Adjust with our first donation of the night. Thank you so much. I haven't even gotten to talking about money. But we really could always use some. It's hard here. But thank you so much for helping keep the lights on. And let me get started with that and help keep the lights on. Support us by subscribing or donating at NFTU.net with various options like PayPal, Cash App, BTC, LTC, or XMR on the website, or you can use Give, Send, Go. Just look in the description to help out. And thank you for the first assist as we have our $200 goal for the night. It is now dropped to $190, and here we are with $10 with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much from Ortho Adjust. Copium from C2A, and always FDDA, because we can't forget Father Dr. Deacon Ananias. So okay, I guess he's fine. Maybe we've embarrassed him into silence on that. All right, you touch poison, but you're not going to get poisoned, right? Yeah. I'm loving this trend to send questions in. Yeah, that's what we want. We want questions. We want comments. Little Wing says he's not a real doctor. He only plays one on TV. Oh. Or YouTube, same thing, you know. Wait, nope, that's not free. They're not even wrong. No, they're not even wrong at this point. They're purposely deceiving people to get people to stay in their camp. Yeah, I know. It's not a mistake at this point. I mean, hopefully Ben is ignorant, but here's his chance. Go buy that book. Monster Eater says, good evening. Jacob Clemens, L6F says, C2A is live right now. I'm not like here to hijack people's streams or anything. Plus, there were other concerns apparently in this particular episode. I think we're almost done here. If this guy is done talking, yeah, Dr. Full Persona canonical. All right, let's see if we can. We're gonna 1.5 them just in case something important is happening. So let's go. Let's continue.
From
Right.
Who decides that? Because there's always a problem in the church. Like that's. But you're right. There's no historical precedent at all.
Once again, let's see if they'll get it this time. Buy the book, The History of Resistance. It literally covers this exact topic. It's not expensive. You can get it in soft covers. Like it's like so goofy. It used to be that we would go through like the situation of parties in the Arian crisis, so on and so forth in the 4th and 5th centuries, 6th century, and even further. And we don't have to anymore. It's 2025, and you can just get one book that already has all of it. So it's so tragic. This is sad. Let me see here. FSJ. I think you mean FJS. But anyway, read the appendix on the parallel jurisdictions in the back of the book. Yeah, there's an entire section of the back. I noted this in my review of this book, and I'm sorry I'm slow on the other ones, but let me see here. There is an appendix starting from page 333. That's a 6-page appendix, which literally contains a historical list in paragraph form of the various Hold on. I'll just do this. I'm still getting used to these guys. All right. So, all right. This part's composed by Christophorus German from this book, just to show you. Basically, Evagrius of Constantinople talks about the schism that occurred between the Arians and the Orthodox in 380. Paulinus of Antioch was involved in one of the massive four-party schisms. St. Gregory of the theologian was concerned, but also talking and writing about how many of these things were split up. Eusebius of Samosata, St. Basil the Great, St. Athanasius, who Bishop Enoch brought up earlier, the Johannite bishops of clergy, those are the supporters of St. John Chrysostom, who formed a separate jurisdiction until his name was restored to the diptychs. The hierarchies of the opposing saints are Sanius Adiuranus, 1273, Joseph Gilisodus, 1283 of Constantinople, the Josephites. This doesn't include the schisms that occurred before the Second Council of Nicaea. I'm hoping that will be in the future edition, but that is mentioned in other parts of the book. The point is that the history is there. The history is there. So when you just have to buy a book. Like at this point, you don't need a college course for it. You just buy a book. Let me see here. Bishop Enoch says World Orthodoxy talks bad about against parallel jurisdictions, saying it makes you schismatic. Also, World Orthodoxy has parallel jurisdictions all over the planet, and they're so obsessed with them, they have a major schism over it. Yeah. It's ridiculous, and Orthodox Ritualist says facts. So yeah, this is silly. Like to hear these people talk like this, they really don't know what they're talking about, but they really pontificate on it like they're serious. Like FDDA here, he's definitely he's trying to look authoritative about this.
The fathers don't speak that way. I mean, it's really anti-Orthodox.
They actually do. They're in the book.
And the other thing too, once you spend enough time, like especially clergy with experience, it's demonic. I know I've kicked the hornet's nest on that, but there's
this is the other thing he's going to say. This is a common thing he has actually been saying about us, that we're demonic, that we're possessed. Why can't you give us an honest answer then? If it's really us that are the evil, demonic, possessed ones, why don't you give us an answer that is actually based in history? Why? It doesn't make sense.
I mean, the fathers talk about that. There's nothing more demonic than the spirit of heresy and schism. And I don't.
But we're not the ones in heresy and schism. So what does that say, buddy?
I think they're theological heretics.
Oh, but we think you're theological heretics.
They're schismatics, and that's a demonic. It infects the people that I talk to. There's a sort of kind of demonic.
It infects them. They're demonic.
Possession.
We're all evil. That's the whole point. If you disagree with us, you're evil. This is stupid, and it's embarrassing.
Those groups, I can pick up on it right away, and so God help them, repent and become Orthodox. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean,
learn your history. You become Orthodox and stop sounding like a. I hate to say, you ever get the feeling when someone just seems like a really oily scam artist? Like, this is how a really oily scam artist talks. I don't have to say he's demonic. He's just a scam artist. Let me see here. Yeah. So he's not in the Serbians. He's in the Romanian Patriarchate, according to Debt to Compromise and Bishop Enoch. I didn't know that. Orthodox Ritualist asked about the Serbian. That's what I thought, too. I asked, let me see here. I asked on T2ATO question on this live stream, can I link the timestamp in the chat? Yes, please feel free. Let's see here. Savory Stop says, what is the question you're saying isn't getting answered? The question is, when people say there's no precedent in the history of the church for parallel hierarchies and jurisdictions during times of heresy, which is what they're claiming. They're saying there's no father saying this. This is not part of history. And I need to remind you, there's an entire book that came out in November, which actually has all that history, and you can just buy it. Anyone can just buy it. They could just buy it, but they want to lie to you. That's the problem. Let's see here. Oh, I don't know about, I mean, Ben's getting closer to that, but I mean, the guy on the right, this, Sorum, he's just lying, and it's really it's really creepy. Hold on, and then let me see. Orthodox says 32 minutes, 54 minutes, and 111 minutes. Yeah, Jacob Clement says ad hominem is what this guy is arguing. Calling us demonic isn't an argument. Yeah, Snake. I think it puts it best. So I'm gonna get to those parts when this question's over. Arrest Foucault for $2. First, thank you for keeping the lights on. Are you still being harassed by deconstruction cult? It's one to two times a week at this point. Not much. It was like every day way back when, but now 1 to 2 times a week, I don't even mind. I just say, your rhetorics would kill Charlie Kirk, and all of a sudden I get no response. But thank you for helping keep the lights on. $2, that helps us get towards our goal. That's 1% of it. So let's go. So that is let me see. Okay, two. Okay, thank you for helping keep the lights on. Give me a moment. And that's AF, and that's $4. So this is great. Let's put that on. Hold on. Okay. So that puts us at 14 at the beginning of this stream, and that's great. We're down to 186 to go. So let's continue on, and I will answer your second question as well, since you just put it up. Have you read Pushkin? I know who he is historically, and I haven't read Pushkin. I really haven't. Not in the original Russian, not in translation. I'm not a poetry guy. I'm a really boring guy. And so thank you for helping keep the lights on. And I'm sorry, I have no culture. Anyway, Heaven Rains Fire says, Father, do I have your blessing to create and post content on YouTube about Gen Orthodox saints and basic old calendar history, or should I get an in-person blessing? Thank you. I can't give blessings to people I don't know to do things. I think you can understand that that's not the safest thing. The best thing to do is if you're true Orthodox and you're in the church and you have a priest, is to ask their blessing for it. It's always better to do it directly through your priest. I can't just bless stuff on the internet. I want you to be received in the church if you haven't been already, and doing the right things. And then I think if you just ask your priest, it'll go great. Jelly Donut Autocrat says, if he's in the Romanian Patriarchate, that's funny because recently they set churches in Ukraine for Romanian ethnics that you upsetted both the EP and the MP approved churches from there. Oh, yes, that's true. The Romanian Patriarchates, they're now setting up their own hierarchies in Orthodox countries. Like in America, that sort of makes sense, but setting it up in Ukraine, I'm mind blown how things are going here. Whoa! Thank you, Tom Katsafanis, for $7 super sticker, $6.99. Very much appreciated. Adding it to the banner, always awesome. And thank you for the kindness there. And so let's put that up. That's TK for $7. And we are now at $21. This is feeling pretty good considering we're just in the first hour. So let's update that. And that is 21. And that is now 179. And then we'll get back to these guys. All right. So let's see here. I see people want me to do specific sections of it. Yeah. And they also set up churches in JP territory, which caused a break for the AP. That for the JP, that was with the Antiochians. And it's amazing how much their own rhetoric undermines their claims to be the Catholic Church. You can't just ignore the past the way that they do and still be Catholic. Staggering. Yeah, I agree completely. That is very true. And Tom says, I'm grateful, Tom. Thank you so much. We've put you on the banner. And so we are now at $21. We've got a $179 goal today. Glory to God. This is going great. We shall continue And don't forget, by the way, this is still a live Q&A show, so if you want to jump on the stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click the link in the top of the chat. That's not a problem. Or if you're in the X chat, it should be in their StreamYard link. So let's take a look and see if this question's done. Because, for people who don't want to talk about it, for people who don't want to talk to us, they love talking about us.
I think the thing that I would like to add to that is if you are a part of one of these groups, rejoin the church. There's no reason to separate yourself.
If you don't know what the church is because you're following heretics, you can't really tell us to rejoin the church. What you mean is join you, and we don't want to do that. We want to stay under Orthodox bishops. People often ask me, well, why aren't you wanting to move here or wanting to move there? Because I have a bishop, and I'm fine with him. Like, once you have a true Orthodox bishop, you question, like, why aren't you joining us here? Because I'm happy with my church and my bishop, and I don't need to do that. Let's continue on.
From the church that Christ established, that you couldn't fight from the inside. Yes, I mean, I acknowledge I've done plenty of videos on some of the issues within the Orthodox Church. That was my entire brand for a while.
This fight from within thing isn't historically the way the church has dealt with heresy. Period. It just isn't.
Doing debates with Roman Catholics, doing debates with Orthodox, so on and so forth. I'm aware of the warts, but that's not a good enough reason to keep me from the church that Christ established, right?
They're not warts when they're heresy.
Right. There are things that always, like you just said, there's always going to be issues to work on. Return to the church, receive the sacraments, labor from within, suffer with.
He kept saying within, from, Bishop Enoch correctly anoints, correctly notices here, one thing to remember: the heretics and schismatics in power will never admit you have the right to resist them. And that's absolutely true. Let's continue on. I'm not part of the True Orthodox Church yet, still researching, but I think you're pretty awesome, Father Sweden. Okay, I am. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think I'm awesome. I'm most people around me who know me think I'm retarded. So, is this guy on the left not even Orthodox yet? I'm pretty sure he's still a catechumen. Yeah, Jacob Clemens said OTP. No, I'm not sure if he's even a catechumen yet. Anderson says, why teaching then? Yeah. Why, if you don't know, if you're not even baptized? Jacob Clemens says, because World Orthodox has a double standard. Absolutely true. 100%. Oh, what? And Monster Eater with 8. There's no comment. There's nothing to it. It's just $20 to help keep the lights on. Thank you so much. And we're going to add that to the banner. And now we're at 41. Now it's starting to get a little bit, we're starting to get a little, people are starting to get a little bit, how do I put it? They're getting a little nervous. We could do this. We can do this because Monster Reader has helped us out. And now we are at, $41 because I can't math. I can't do math. See, I schismed by saying that I can't math. I can't do math. I'm not good at math, but should not say I can't math, even though I really like saying it because it sounds funny. But now I realize that's hypocritical, because then if somebody says, he schismed, I have to say, well, I can't math, so it's my fault too. So I don't want to be part of the problem. So I'm denying myself the right to say I can't math. It's I can't do math. Okay, so the banner is back up. Thank you so much, Monster Eater, for helping keep the lights on. And let me see here. Where am I? Okay, right here. I thought, Ortho Pirate with a member chat. If you want your comment on the screen and you don't super chat, you can always become a member on the YouTube channel. He said, I thought this jabroni said he wasn't qualified to speak on these matters. Yeah, but I think he realized he's more qualified to speak than the people he's talking to. He has to be the smart guy because these guys are actually morons when it comes to true orthodoxy. Orthodox traditionalist says, when there are those who charge us with being contentious and separating from heretics and say that there's no real difference between us except what arises from our ambition, that's St. John Chrysostom talking. Do you know, Heaven Reigns Fire says, do you know the quote attributed to St. Nectarius of Aegina that he told St. Irenaeus, Hieronymus, and other monks to not commune with the new calendarists, or is it a false quote? Basically, because it was before it was right after he died, but they were proposing doing the new calendar, and he basically was warning his monks, do not commune ever with the new calendarists if that happens. Ortho Joe says he's a certified ortho bro now. Typical Twitter mans. Ortho Jabroni, why didn't I think of that? Yo, forget the text, but keep the lights on and stand staunchly for the truth. Thank you, Monster Reader, and we're going to do our best to do that. And we are aiming for the goal as always, but we are going to continue to preach the truth no matter what happens during the chats and the streams. I should take a moment, and I will after this first quote. I didn't realize this was going to get so long and involved. Let me see. Bishop Enoch says, remember the Romanian new calendar patriarchate was even more violent and persecuting of killings in the 30s and 40s than the Greek new calendars were. Yeah, they were. They were, that, believe it or not, even though the Greek new calendars were violent, put people in jail, and often killed people, the Romanians were worse. That's let me see here. Jacob Clemens says, am I delusional schismatic or is interest in TL growing? I will say this, if people call you a delusional schismatic, all of our newest episodes have a map on them. So if I was to present, for example, let me say I stop this screen and I just go to, the two maps that we have on in the description. You'll see there's two different Google Maps. So if you look at those Google Maps and, you share the screen, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, and this is just one of two maps. So you have both of those maps, you put those together, and you can see there's lots of little dots, and all those little dots are True Orthodox parishes and missions. And so, yeah, we have a lot of work to do in Asia, though. But that's another story. But the whole point is, obviously, it's not just us. So, one thing to keep in mind is that, yeah, we do have a lot of people, and they're all over the world, millions of them. So no, you're not delusional. It is happening. Orthodox Ritualist says, if every Orthodox Christian is commanded by the canons to depart from a heretical bishop even before he is officially condemned, or be guilty also of his heresy, how much more must we depart from those who are worse and more unfortunate than heretics because they openly serve the cause of Antichrist? And that's the Holy Father Seraphim Rose. And so let's see. Heaven Reigns Fire says, thank you, Father. May Saint Nectarios pray for us all. Thoughts on Rasputin veneration? I noticed that that's a really Russian nationalistic thing. I think it's sus, honestly. I'm not sure about it. Maybe one day I'll be convinced that he really was like the saintly guy, even though on paper he seems to have done lots of horrible stuff. So I'm not gonna bless it. I'm not gonna condemn it. I'm just gonna say it's kind of unique. Let me see here. And let me see. P.S. At this moment, Jay Dyer has been waxing manic, inebriated on caffeine and nicotine or chalk or whatever for 96 minutes now, doing his direct shtick. Is he talking about us? Because if he's not, I don't care. He can go chew on chalk all day long. It doesn't matter to me. Let's go back to this here again. And let's see here.
With us, that is the call. Take up your cross, right? So if you are true Orthodox, if you're part of one of these groups, return to the church. It's ultimately where my heart's at, man.
Okay, first off, you can put us in quotes, but you're not even Orthodox yet. So it should be the guy on the right speaking, but he's just busy fuming because he doesn't know anything. I'm sorry that they're putting you in this position, Ben, but honestly, it's not a good look. Read the book. Let's continue and
let's get in the fight together. Let's not tear each other apart always.
And also too, I mean, I should actually look and see. I don't know off the top of my head how many GOC or TO parishes are there in the United States. So you have Etna and California.
Well, if you want to know, just click on the two maps. Click on the first map that are in the description on this video on YouTube. and you can see them for yourself. Like, it's so funny. Let me see here. All right, what do we got here? Oh no, Trinitarian Champion says Sweden is a shell, and you don't have a church, so we're cool. You know, what happened? I know you and OCZ, y'all were like cheering for that one bishop, and then God decided that he needed to go home. So who's your bishop now? He's even dressed. Matthew with a win says he's even dressing like Dyer. I will say that was a funny comment. I think those shirts are more tasteful than Dyer's, but that was a very nice. That's a nice Hawaiian shirt reference. So, Bakamojo says, if I'm a bishop teaching heresy, the most traditional minded of my laity and priests are warring against those who separate me and encouraging me to reunite with me, then why should I repent? Yeah. Trinitarian Champion says, you defend Cyprianism. Cyprianism, no, I actually was arguing that Cyprianism is not a real heresy and that it doesn't exist anymore in practice. And you want to say all the true Orthodox around the world are infected with it and dead, but you and your group of friends in the OCC Discord are the representative of the Orthodox Church throughout the world. Give me a break. Just honestly, give me a break. And you don't have a bishop. No offense, the fact that you had lost your bishop as you guys were trying to preach that you were the true church throughout the world, that feels like what's the word I'm looking for? Divine poetry, to be honest with you, because he shouldn't have separated from his synod, and you guys were trying to prop him up as some sort of cult leader because you probably already tried Gregory of Colorado and he said no. And the point is, now you have nobody. And so the truth of the matter is you should just repent and go back to the regular Matthewites. Let me see here. Or the Pirate says, as a Floridian, I wear Hawaiian shirts. Ben is what we here would call a poser. Ooh, shots fired. That was a member chat. That's what goes on the screen. No bishop sounds like an FPH type, says Orthodox traditionalist. Very true. He used to have a bishop. It's just, he was broken away from like three-part firms apart from the Matthewites, and then he passed on. Gabriel Michael says, right. I meant to type dialect. It does no harm. Does not matter. Too much foolishness already. Hot air and insanity on Orthodox streams. It is much later than you think. Yep. The Royal Commission I'm attending suggests Cyprianism is still a thing. I don't know what to say about that. I would probably talk to the priest. I was talking about in terms of the historical term of Cyprianism as supposedly founded by Metropolitan Cyprian when it wasn't even technically considered. He wasn't even proposing it as a teaching of the church. Let me see here. Oh, Ben is in Florida. LOL. Divine providence. That's the word I was looking for. Even though it's not a member chat, I don't care. That was the word. That's what I was looking for. I hate to say it. Jay Clement says Cyprianism doesn't exist anymore, nor did it really exist back in Cyprian's thesis in 1985 because the HSR never adopted it. Yeah, that's one thing that I'm gonna remind people that back in the 1980s, the Cyprianites who supposedly recognized world orthodoxy because of this statement that was not even actually their official teaching, but they chrismated new calendarists. What does that tell you? Think about it. Matthew Metronoy says, Ortho Pirate. Okay, so he gets a pass. Blind Reader John says, where's the link? To the map? It should be in the description in the YouTube video, like to the two maps, if that's what you're talking about. Yes, let's see. Where's the link? Heaven Rains Fire says, maybe you have commented on this, but Father Paul Baba Antiochian said in an interview that he met Father Seraphim Rose. We know. Actually, you want to go to Orthodox Traditionalist channel and watch the video with Father Andrew Kensis, where they actually reference that, Father Paul Baba and some other people in their own history with Father Seraphim. So definitely, yeah. Orthodox Traditionalist says, really need to start baptizing new calendarists these days. I mean, has it gone that far? I know that's becoming a maybe. It's almost definitely with the Orientals, because they're not always doing even that. They're just putting the butts in the water of the babies. For StreamYard, Is it not there? Hold on. That's not good. How can all challenges be accepted? Why is it not there? Oh no. Hold on. Hold on. I don't understand. I thought I put this up and I thought I pinned it. Oh, no wonder no one's calling it. It's the same link, by the way. It never changes. So we've pinned it. Okay. All right. So that's fixed. All right. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's been pinned. So if anyone wants to call in again, you can. That's not it. If you want to jump on stream or ask a question or make a comment, just click the link at the top of the chat. Hopefully they're done talking about us for now, because I know there's 2 more sections.
California. You have the one in Colorado. I'm sure there's some on the East Coast.
Okay, this is stupid. He's just making up things when you can just look at our handy map, which is inside the description of all of our recent broadcasts. And I say check both out, and you'll see True Orthodox are all over the world and maybe near you. Welcome, Reader John.
Father bless.
May God bless you in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So
I thought I was crazy there for a second.
what? No.
That the link wasn't there.
Yeah, no, that's just, I have to put it up, which I do, and then I have to pin it, which I thought I did, but I guess I didn't.
Okay.
Okay. But it is always the same. Let me see. All right.
Oh.
Thank you. Yes, as Orthodox traditionalist. HBBZ Chris says, my 2.5-year-old daughter just said to me while pointing to Father Joseph on screen, he has a beard just like you. Okay,
that's the best.
funny. Yeah, that's great. It's let me see. Is someone baptized in proper form is still valid? Doesn't have grace? Depends if it was the proper form, yeah, but yeah, it's empty. Bakamoja says the one in Colorado. Yeah, you see what they always do the same thing.
That
They
guy.
always do the same thing. It's like, just let's bring in Gregory Colorado. They'll think it's him. Yeah.
Oh, are you guys
Right.
watching that Cleave to Modernity channel?
No, this is from 3 days ago. He's on right now, but I'm not gonna mess with his stream.
No,
I
the
was
other.
told.
Yeah, I was talking about the one from 3 days ago.
Yeah, this is the one. And then apparently, let's just, since now they're just skipping into lies about where we are. Let's go to the 32nd minute allegedly. So let's see here. Yeah, they talked about us a lot there. Yeah, because it looks like they had because they're all the way in like 20 minutes in, and they're still talking about us, and then 12 minutes later they're talking about us again. So
Is he even a catechumen yet?
I believe he's a catechumen.
Wow.
Hi.
By the way, there is a tradition that, in fact, the good thief on the cross actually had met Christ before and was actually baptized. And he was just...
Have you heard this?
I've heard it. I don't know how much validity there is to it.
Interesting. Okay.
publicly declaring his faith in God, so that he was
Also now is he wearing that? I don't remember that hat from earlier. I guess he just started wearing that. Maybe, I don't know. Okay.
actually already saved through works prior to him even being on, and not works as merits, but works of act of virtue to acquire the virtues and likeness of God.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna skip and answer this one question, if that's okay. I'd like to just answer it very briefly and then move on, so we don't spend too much time on the True Orthodox stuff.
Oh boy, here we go. Let's see. Do you think the GOCK is baseless when they were? This should be fun.
Because I get asked this a lot, and this was actually asked in a previous live stream too, and I didn't get to the question because we ran out of time. But I get asked this almost every single stream. Do you think the GOCK is graceless when they were in communion with ROCOR up until the union with the MP? I'll say this, and I want to keep it very brief, if that's okay. If you are in schism from the church, you are outside of the hospital, right? I can pray that God will send you first aid kits, but you're out.
Again,
Says the catechumen.
Yeah, you don't know where the church is. You're okay with staying in a body that preaches heresy, so you double don't know where the church is, and you're not actually answering the question, which is, do you think if the GOC is graceless when they were in communion with ROCOR up until the union with the MP? Were they or not? ROCOR was not in communion with the new calendarists. Are you saying, therefore, that ROCOR and the GOC were all graceless?
Outside of the hospital. So if you would like to receive God's healing, come into the hospital. That would be my answer to that.
And by the way, at the time they were in
But we
communion
never
with
left
ROCOR,
the hospital.
What? Yeah, exactly. Now this guy's he's gonna wax angry again.
To the hospital. That would be my answer to that.
And by the way, at the time they were in communion with Rokor, and Rokor was not in communion with the MP, they were recognized by Bulgaria and Alexandria, so they weren't schismed yet. Those were minor schisms.
Use it
How
as
does
a
this
verb.
man not know how to use the word schism?
And they weren't in communion.
This is so dumb.
Man, they really need to read Subdeacon's blog. They can really be educated.
Yeah, I think they're just promoting ignorance now, and
they're just talking points from World Orthodoxy.
It doesn't make sense.
When you cut off, because there's conciliarity and synodality. So
there
I
we
can
go.
argue that
I'm not even sure if he knows what the word synodality means, because this is the second time in this video he was making a reference to synodality. But
well, I could say at that point they had grace because they hadn't severed themselves off from communion. Rokor was not a schismatic; like they were still recognized.
It's worth to note this comment that's on the screen. It says, Father Seraphim Rose, even before the anathema on 1, Father Seraphim Rose stated the OC schismatics were wrong and the time for schism was when and if they actually reunite and make it dogma. This is false. Father Seraphim Rose didn't say that because he was in communion with the True Orthodox. And this guy is misquoting it. So this is like lie upon lie.
Yeah, it's called quote mining and decontextualizing. That's what revisionists do.
Yep.
By patriarchal sees.
Geez,
more schismatic stuff. It's never going to end.
Yeah, well, it's like the same thing when you get the EP MP.
It's ironic, Father.
Right? Like,
Hold on.
Does that mean like they're?
It's ironic because Constantinople, I think even to this day, still considers St. John of Shanghai and San Francisco schismatic.
Yeah, which is bizarre.
Yeah,
but that's kind of where we are.
They're both graceless because it's an administrative schism. It's like, dude, no, there's always been little administrative breaks between certain sees, right? Like that's always happened all throughout history.
Yeah, wait till he finds about breaks between sees due to heresy and breaks within sees. Like all he has to do is buy this book. And I hate sounding like an advertiser. I don't mind sounding like an advertisement for a good book, but the point is that it's like brain rot for people looking into the church.
To say that it's when you separate yourself from the entire body, right? Not if there's like an administrative break between two sees or something. Like,
yeah, exactly. Administrative
schism is who did they separate from?
Schism.
Yeah.
Who did they separate from? Answer it, guys.
Well, yeah,
nobody.
The entire communion.
Yeah.
This is Father
Seraphim Rose, even before the anathema on 1. Father Seraphim Rose stated the OC old calendar schismatics were wrong, and the time for schism was when and if they actually reunite and make it a dogma. That said, doesn't the anathema on ecumenism still stand, even though unenforced, because ecumenist works through the line, I'm not a TO? No, I already explained this. So at the reunion between Rokor and the MP, they actually signed documents annulling all prior canonical declarations that would include the anathema.
Yeah, except for one minor problem. The MP had no authority to make any changes to the anathema against ecumenism because it was ecumenist. So, sorry, that doesn't work.
So those are actually annulled canonically.
I think they actually need to read the Acts because one of the things.
I think that he's it's really strange. He didn't read. He should probably read the Acts of the Sabor, but more importantly, he thinks that the MP has the authority because he thinks that Rokor thought that the MP had the authority. For people who are confused by this odd position, give me just one moment. I'd like to point this out because I will probably make a clip of this just for the sake of people being edified by it.
It was an act of non-canonical communion, so it wasn't an act of submission.
Yeah. And so let me see here. Hold on.
From their perspective, anyway.
Yeah. Let me. I'm gonna put this up because, just so people understand, this is from Monastery Press. It has a flash thing that's pointless, but to understand what the opinions of were the high, opinions of the Moscow Patriarchate, I'm just gonna read them out to you. Again, this can be found in monasterypress.com/articles. Metropolitan Anthony Krapovitsky of the Russian Church in Exile, the first hierarch of the Church abroad, wrote, "Now everywhere 2 epistles are being published in the newspapers and are being read in many churches, which until very recently were Orthodox. Epistles of 2, alas, beloved former beloved pupils of mine, with whom I was once in agreement, Metropolitan Sergius and Eulogius, have now fallen away from the saving unity of the church and have bound themselves to the enemies of Christ and the Holy Church, the disgusting, blaspheming Bolsheviks who have submitted themselves in everything to read the representative of the Jewish false teaching, which everywhere goes under the name of communism or materialism. Let these new deceivers not justify themselves that they are not friends of the Bolsheviks and Jews who stand at the head of the Bolshevik kingdom. In their souls, they may not be their friends, but they have submitted, albeit unwillingly, to these enemies of Christ and are trying to increase their power not only over the hapless inhabitants of Holy Russia, but also all Russian people, even though they have departed far from the Russian land." On July 5th, 1928, the Hierarchical Synod of the Roka decreed, "The present ukaz introduces nothing new into the position of the Church abroad. It repeats the same notorious ukaz of His Holiness Patriarch Tikhon in 1922, which was decisively rejected by the whole Church abroad at its time." And that was, I believe that was one that was forced, if I remember correctly. The Roka was in harmony with the catacomb hierarchs in Russia. On August 22nd, 1928, her first hierarch, Metropolitan Anthony Krapovitsky of Kiev, issued the, quote, "the completely definitive declaration of all our Synod of Bishops that the Moscow Synod has deprived itself of all authority since it had entered into agreement with the atheists and without offering any resistance, has tolerated the closing and destruction of the holy churches and of the innumerable crimes of the Soviet government. That illegally formed organization, which has entered into union with God's enemies, where Metropolitan Sergius calls an Orthodox Synod, but which the best Russian hierarchs, clergy, and laymen have refused to recognize, must not be recognized by our Orthodox churches, nor by our Synod of Bishops with its flock here abroad. Furthermore, the organization of the Moscow Synod must be recognized to be the exact same sort of apostates from the faith as the ancient Liberatici. That is, Christians who refused, even though they refused to blaspheme openly against Christ and offer sacrifices to the idols nevertheless still received from priests of the idols false documents, verifying that they were in complete accord with the adherents of pagan religion. Metropolitan Anthony secretly distributed this encyclical with an appeal to all the faithful archpastors to join the Roka. It was widely read around among the Josephites. A reminder, this was the first primate of the Russian Church abroad. In 1933, wrote Sergius, "We, the free bishops of the Russian Church, do not want a truce with Satan, although you are trying to obscure the question by calling our hostile relationships only a policy, while we believe that the struggle with them we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers in darkness of this world. We have no intercourse with the Orthodox archpastors, pastors, and laymen who are imprisoned in Russia, except we pray for them and know they suffer for the faith, though the persecutors charge them with state crimes which are aliens, as the enemies of the Christians love to do in ancient times." Give me one moment. This is part of, I'm just going to read the relative parts of St. Philaret's letter to Abbess Magdalena concerning his position on the Moscow Patriarchate. Let me see here. Yeah, and so at this, he says, "You most likely recall that not during my last visit to the convent, but the one previous to it, you and I had somewhat an argument over the fact that the convent receives into its church people who in essence are members of the former exarchate, the Parisian system, and not of the church abroad. And conversely, many of our spiritual children regularly attend to the churches of the Parisians and go there to confession and receive quote-unquote communion." Remember, this is a letter. He put quotes around communion. And so he says, "You pointed out that the convent acts for missionary purposes in order to give the erring ones the opportunity to pray and be sanctified by the mysteries of the Orthodox Church. But to this, that way may well be so, just as the emissaries of Holy Prince Vladimir attend to the Greek Orthodox Church. However," and it's a big however, "the emissaries of the prince reported to him concerning the beauty of the Orthodox faith, and the result was that they and the prince himself did not remain in their error, but exchanged paganism for Christianity. And it seems clear to me that proper missionary work, quote unquote, will exist in the convent only then when the convent, while allowing them to visit the church, will allow them to approach the mysteries on the condition that they refuse the quote-unquote mysteries, here you go again with the quotes, performed at the Rue de Rue, and that's the Evlogian St. Alexander Nevsky Cathedral. Further, he says in the letter at the third Pandiaspora Sabor, they started making speeches about how we should unite with the Parisians and with the American false autocephalites, quote, in a spirit of love. Now he's talking about the Evlogians and the OCA. Love, you see, should unite us, and there's no need to emphasize our differences. But such talk ceased when I cited the words of one of our holy fathers, which read this: if we supposedly, in the name of love, and so not as to trouble our neighbors, are going to keep quiet about their error and not explain to them that they're on a false path, then this is not love, but hatred. Does he who do well upon seeing a blind man approaching a precipice not tell him about it so as not to trouble him? That this is love. Let me see here. Let me go back. I want to get to, I think there might be a reference to the Moscow Patriarchate on this, because he goes through all the Holy Fathers. He's very clear about this. And let's see here, because he's making very clear his position as the Moscow Patriarchate and Paris and the OCA are heretical. And he quotes Bishop Anthony Krapovitsky on the same thing. And so he's, let's see here, because this is where he quotes Metropolitan Anthony, and he says, unfortunately, some Orthodox laymen, even alas, many priests and hierarchs have subjected themselves to this state of gracelessness, although still retaining the outward appearance of the church services and the apparent performance of the mysteries. And so...
Yeah, that doesn't leave much room for interpretation.
No, he's very, very clear.
Yeah. As a bishop should be.
Yeah, that's exactly why our bishops don't worry. You know, they're very clear. We don't have worries about that. And let me see here. I'm trying to find this one. And okay, so here he says he's talking about Father Dmitry Dudko. He says, from the very beginning of his activities, when his name was being mentioned more and more often as a pillar of orthodoxy, and moreover, the members of the synod, the hierarchs, were joining their voices to this. I, however, the author of these lines, immediately kept out of it and forewarned my fellow hierarchs that a disaster might happen here. How so? Because in the USSR, according to the premise of Archimandrite Constantine, there is now a Satanocracy. There rules he whom the Savior called a liar and father of lies. This lie reigns there. Therefore, one cannot trust anything that occurs there. Any seemingly spiritually encouraging fact can turn out to be a falsification, a forgery, a deception, or a provocation. Why did this calamity befall Father Dmitry Dudko? Let's assume the best, not suspecting him of conscious collaboration with the KGB and betrayal of his convictions, but simply noting the sad fact that he did not endure but was broken. He capitulated before the enemies of the church. Why? It would seem that he did display courage and daring, and then suddenly inglorious end. Why? Because his activity took place outside of the true church. What then is the Soviet church? Archimandrite Constantine has often and insistently stated that the most horrible thing that the God-hating regime has done in Russia is the creation of the Soviet church, which the Bolsheviks presented to the people as the true church, having driven the genuine Orthodox Church into the catacombs or concentration camps. This pseudo-church has been twice anathematized. His Holy Patriarch Tikhon and the All-Russian Sabor anathematized the communists and all their collaborators. This dread anathema has not been lifted till this day and remains in force, since it can be lifted only by a similar All-Russian Church Sabor, as the canonical supreme ecclesiastical authority. And a terrifying thing happened in 1927 when the head of the church, Metropolitan Sergius, by his infamous and apostate declaration, subjected the Russian church to the Bolsheviks and proclaimed collaboration with them. Thus, in a most exact sense, was fulfilled the expression in the prayer of the beginning of confession, having fallen under their own anathema. For in 1918, the church anathematized all these confederates of communism, while in 1927, she herself joined the camp of these collaborators and began to laud the red, God-hating regime, to laud the red beast spoke of as in the apocalypse. But that is not, as if that is not enough. When Metropolitan Sergius promulgated his criminal declaration, then the faithful children of the church immediately separated themselves from the Soviet church and thus the catacomb church was formed. And she, in return, has anathematized the official church for its betrayal of Christ. And he goes on. I'm actually going to stop here because I've been reading for a while, and I don't know how much I've bored.
Get you a drink of water, Father.
Yeah, I'm out. But I will put the link in so you can read more and you can see how deluded and stupid this position is to claim that the Moscow Patriarchate, which directly descends from Stalin's formed Moscow Patriarchate in 1945, is anything but a pseudo-church. It has no authority to decide anything about the canons. And it's a shame that, unfortunately, Ben here has been misled into believing that this was he's just been misled by marketing. It's just horrifying. Yeah, well, like that. I was gonna say FDDA doesn't read the rudder, but let me go to the next one. Minute 52 or 54, it looks like, and then I'm gonna read comments, and then we're gonna be done with this. Hold on.
Okay.
52, and
I feel sad for him. He can't see past
I feel
the
bad for him
revision.
too. I think he's a good guy, and he just got lied to.
He'll figure it out.
Oh, this is gonna hurt me. I'm gonna be mad. I'm probably gonna be really mad in a second.
Like Christ, which is the actual gospel, so it's more medicinal rather than simply some kind of like Talmudic like bean counting.
By the way, they always miss the part in James, because I believe that as a Protestant, I believe that too, that the causal error was faith produces good works, so it's an effect of, which is true. But James also says, and his works perfected, right? That means it's a cause of his faith. So there's a symbiosis, right, between it breaks the kind of dialectic, like which one goes which way. It's like it's both. It's a both and, right? I have never heard a Protestant respond to like, you do know that it says right there in the Bible that the works actually cause the faith, correct faith. It's not just saving faith produces works, but your actual working produces the faith that saves.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? I was thinking about that just before I converted. I was teaching or maybe it was like a month or two. That's funny that you bring that up because I was teaching an apologetics class, and I'm thinking to myself as I'm teaching it that when I was a Protestant, I'm like, you know what? It's so weird. It's like, okay, the works feed into your faith. Your faith, it's like this big circle. I'm like, wait a minute. There's something messed up with my paradigm. So I was going on.
The other thing too is model. It's just a Western. It's very Western to have these dialectics of opposition, and they're very, very pronounced in Protestantism. God set against man, nature versus grace, the two kingdoms doctrine, right? When I started listing all the dialectics, heaven and earth, right? They're separate. You even see some architecture people.
I know. All I hear is word salad.
And the other thing too, just do the same thing.
The other one certainly seemed like that. Absolutely. This person says, I am a catechumen in a GOC USA parish under Metropolitan Demetrius. I guess you're probably saying Demetrius of America. Would it be in my best interest to look for a different church?
No, you should stay Greek. By the way, every single stream we have. I think
he's saying genuine Orthodox.
Stupid. Oh. This is
like the schismatics.
Oh yeah, definitely get out.
Yeah, if you're in the genuine Orthodox Church, rejoin. Become a part of the church.
You're not rejoining anything.
Sorry, I'm blind. This is what happens.
This is shameful. First off, you shouldn't be advising catechumens, Ben, especially because you are one. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about on history, and I'm really ashamed that you have decided to go down this pathetic path. I'm once again going to recommend to you, read this book, because right now it's the best one on the market, the only one on the market of its kind that answers why you are lying, because they're lying and you think they're telling the truth, and you're actually joining in the lying. And I beg you, I hope that somebody can reach out, because I'm not going to bother at this point because I'm so sad at how indoctrinated he is.
We're just watching Dumb and Dumber World Orthodox Edition.
Yeah, and there's nothing else. Of course, they're going to say no. They're stupid. This is shameful. And I'm done.
It really is.
I'm done. I'm done with this guy. All right, let's get back to comments. Orthodox Traditionalist says form can be economized, but doesn't have to be economized. Jacob Clemens says, my point is, if it's proper form, no need to be rebaptized. Orthodox Traditionalist correctly says depends on the bishop.
Well, except in World Orthodoxy, and I think the subdeacon would agree with this, is that the exception has been made the rule. That's the problem.
Right. In World Orthodoxy, generally what people don't understand is they will accept Protestant baptisms, Roman Catholic baptisms, so on and so forth.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they take like Seventh-day Adventists and Mormon.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who. I don't know. I think they go by whatever the Catholics say is okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Heaven Rains Fire says Gen Orthodox seems a bigger problem than schismatics and heretics. The priest of the Antiochian parish told me there was no such thing as heterodoxy, and the only heretics were Arius and Nestorius. Wow, Lord of mercy. Fine, yeah. But then he told me genuine Orthodox Church lack love. Switch churches. Go to the other church. That's a shame.
Wow.
Orthodox traditionalist says it wouldn't be rebaptism, it would just be baptism. That is correct. But they who have broken off had become laymen, they had no authority to either baptize or ordain. That is correct. That's letter 188 of St. Basil the Great.
Yep.
This is from a while ago, but it's still true from the most recent thing that I listened to, Lie Inception. It's lie upon lie upon lie. Jacob Clemens says Father Sheriff from Rose was against the Matthewites, not the Florinites he was in communion with. That's true. And then he was in communion with the different group that was the what was the name of the synod that formed in 78? That broke off of some Florinites and one of the Matthewites.
Oh, goodness.
Because he supported that one.
I'm fuzzy on the 70s.
Yeah, I want to say that was the Akakians. It was either the Akakian schism, I believe, or maybe I'm just thinking of the actual historical Akakian schism. But that was where Metropolitan Cypriot League came from. Let's see. And Antiquity keeps saying he's he's even Orthodox. My guy, you aren't in the club. That is correct.
He's not cleaved to
Zealous
Antiquity.
American says, yo, sup, it's me, Ahmed. Welcome, Ahmed. If you want to jump on the stream, you're welcome to.
It's not cleaved. From here on in, he's not cleaved to Antiquity. He's cleaved to modernity. Let's get it straight.
Just a shame. Ben
I found
takes
out
a strict stance towards schismatics, but not heresy. Odd standards. Yep. Very, very true. Let me see.
I found out where he got that name from, though.
What, Cleavage to Antiquity?
Yeah.
That's from the Commonatory.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. That's let's see. Orthopirate says, can you link that in your video for people? Please be more specific, because sometimes I read the comments a bit later and I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Are they defining canonicity as being in communion with the Patriarchal See? If so, what canon are they basing that on? None of them.
Well, word orthodoxy usually means canonical by following the canons, which they don't.
Yeah, and
or
now they use canonical as a brand. So it's like if you're in communion with Patriarch X.
Yeah. So
these same people, based on their standards, consider the Russian Catacomb Church schismatic. It's awful. You can annul a deposition, but not annul a condemnation of heresy. Exactly, because a heresy is always going to be a heresy. Akamo just says, exactly. They admit Rome fell away, but the other 4 sees are immune. And now they're kind of rolling back whether they admit Rome fell away.
That's kind of weird, actually.
Yeah. Heaven Rain Fire says, before I started my journey into I don't know what Gen Orthodoxy is. I guess general Orthodoxy.
Genuine.
Genuine Orthodoxy. That makes sense. I was confused and blindly listened to absolutely everything from everyone I read and heard. Genuine Orthodoxy is a breath of fresh air and discernment. Yeah, well, it's just regular Orthodoxy without all the lies that these people tell.
So without the drama and the marketing.
Yep. Anderson Goncalves says, if you're officially recognized by the MP, then you're in trouble. Exactly. Jacob Clemens says St. Philaret held a graceless view on the MP. Correct. Orthodox traditionalist has said many people did in the Roe Corps. Yes, at some points, most people did in the Roe Corps. Dmitry Didko is a good example of how resist from within does not work. Absolutely
pay off.
Right.
Yeah, that poor guy though. He got broken.
What did they say about the Moscow Patriarchate? I missed that part. They said it was Soviet and graceless. Just click the link. That's Father Andrew's monasterypress.com site. Very nice.
Well, And you got to give the context, like they didn't consider Soviets Russians.
Yeah.
Like a Soviet man was different than a Russian man.
Yeah, it was considered a corrupted version of a Russian.
Yeah.
Let me see. Bob says Romanian World Orthodox have their People's Salvation Cathedral, in case anyone doubts their commies. That sounds like a name you'd find in like China.
That's the one that Bartholomew was at. He got yelled at. Did you hear about that?
No, what happened?
So I think it's actually on Ortho Christian, but so somebody when he was reading out all the different patriarchs' names during the Great Entrance, he read out Epiphany, and you get clear as day to hear out somebody yell out anathema.
That's funny. Okay,
I was like, wow.
Let me see here. Gabriel Michael says, thank you, Ucha, for citing these passages and for reading them. Good antidote to some of the foolish hot air I've been hearing on so many Ortho streams. Absolutely. It's really good. Matthew Metronoia says, very Western blue hair talk. Norman Ernesto says, bruh. James Clemens says, Metropolitan Demetrius is a valid bishop. He's my bishop. He's a great bishop. Father Antonio says, good evening. Good evening. And Ortho Pirate says, Lord have mercy on Ben's soul. Yeah, hopefully that's kind of more commonly to say about the reposed, but I think he's still alive, but still, Lord have mercy on his soul, regardless. Jelly Donut Autocrat says, some people say that the Russian church after Peter the Great was just like the Soviet MP, but then we have these bishops who lived during the pre-Soviet era and still rejected Sergius's declaration. Absolutely. And by the way, anyone who says that the church of Peter the Great was worse than the Soviet MP is usually indoctrinated into communism, or repeating someone who was indoctrinated into communism, like a college professor. Anyway, Catherine says he knows they're lying. He's been exposed to the truth and rejected it. I hate to say that.
Yeah, he was going along with this. He's kind of a chameleon, to be honest.
Yeah,
because he was like, "Oh yeah, about this and that on when he was on here."
It's shameful. It's shameful.
Yeah, it's kind of disgusting, actually.
No. FDDA went to St. Vladimir Seminary. Explains so much from Anderson and Calzos. Yeah, it does.
So he's not really FDD.
Yeah, he's FDDA because he's Father Dr. Deacon Ananias.
Yeah, but if he got his doctorate from St. Vlad's, it doesn't count.
Oh, that's true. So then that would make him Father Deceptive Doctorate Deacon Ananias.
No. He'd be Father Ecumenist Deacon Fed.
Father Ecumenist Deacon Ananias. So he'd be Feta.
Or just a Fed.
Let me see here. Death to Compromise says Cleve blocked me from his live chats a couple of weeks back with the cool kids now.
Yeah, welcome.
Great.
Welcome.
Always, he's Death to Compromise is NFTU family. He's part of the NFTU family here. So,
yep.
Not just the greater NFTU community. He's like, anyway, very true OTP. Jacob, we can economize, but we don't have to, regardless of the World Orthodox form. That is the canonically correct answer. Matthew Metanoia says, I'm going off my instincts not to pass Ben off as a grifter and a con man at this point. All right. Bakamojo with a $10 super chat that continues to help. You're always helping the channel. Thank you so much. I am always appreciative. And with a $10 chat, the Elder Sabbath of Monathos, I think, gave good advice. I think applies well for people who are discerning, on the fence, or sympathetic. Remain silent and do not blaspheme by calling the zealots schismatic. Very true. And that's all they have to do, but they can't help themselves. So thank you for that. Give me one moment as I fail at math again. And so now the goal is we're in the 15th minute of the second hour. And so we are now at $51 for the evening. Thank you so much for helping keep the lights on. And let's see here.
Don't you have to leave early
today?
Or is that Thursday?
No, Thursday. I actually, I should say this right now. Hold on. Thursday's stream is actually going to be canceled. I'm not sure I can do one Wednesday or Friday. Just a quick reminder that I am doing the debate with Luke Putman, I believe his name was, of Anti-Nicene Christianity. It will be on this channel. The other Paul has agreed to moderate. And that is on Saturday night at 8:30. It is going to be a 3-hour debate. It is going to have 30-minute introductions. No, that was not my request. And I'm fighting for a Q&A. So God willing, that happens. Father Antonios with the cross.
So ignore the first half an hour.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can. Well, it doesn't matter to me. Trust me. Let me see here. Cleve is rushing to. Bakamojo says Cleve is rushing to speak way too soon. We have to give account for these things eventually. It's sad to see. Absolutely. I can't believe how what's the word I'm looking for? How casually he tossed aside his own understanding of the truth. That
Wait,
just
don't
blows me.
Orthodox jurisdictions tell catechumens to get offline?
Some, but he's special because
He's
they make
special. Okay.
exceptions. Yeah. So we're now at 10 minutes to 10 o'clock Eastern, and that means we have about 40 minutes to go. If we can get to the to 150 or 3/4 of the way there, then I will stay till 11. And if we get to the full goal, then I will stay until 11:30. Once again, there probably will not be a second show because we will have the debate on Saturday with Luke Putman of Anti-Nicene Christianity on the veiling of women. So we're gonna see. We'll see how it goes. It's gonna be a tricky couple of weeks. I will say that because we have this week we have the debate with the Anti-Nicene Christianity guys. Next week is the debate on the papacy with Elijah Yassi. I don't have a pick yet for the Luke Putman video yet. God willing, I will have that soon. But we still do have one for the debate on the 7th. For that's me and versus Elijah Yassi on the
Should
Gospel
do a
Truth
Star
channel.
Wars theme.
Huh?
Should do a Star Wars theme.
What, even in the background? Yeah. Anyway, the point is, we didn't create one yet for Luke, and I don't know if we're gonna have time for it. I'm gonna have to set up the thumbnail, etc. And the next time you'll see me on this is gonna be on Saturday, God willing. So that's where we're gonna go with it. Saturday, this Saturday, November 1st. As I mentioned, it may be a very chaotic day if nothing changes, as we will see. God willing, it won't be too much, but we'll have a good debate, and I hope it goes okay. And
Are you still going to stream on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay.
That never changes.
Okay.
That is the anchor of our week. So let's see here. Yeah, so I am going to take a moment. I don't see any comments, or was there anything you wanted to talk about, Reader Joe?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. All right, well,
I did want to apologize to the two gentlemen I was talking to after the last stream because my phone died. So
Oh, I'm sure they understand.
Okay.
Phones die all the time.
I disappeared.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. But I'm gonna just take a rest on my breath so that I can keep my voice good. So I'm gonna disappear for a sec,
Okay.
and we are waiting for comments. So I'm gonna put that on. I'm gonna put
I'll hijack the stream.
Okay.
I mean, I'll watch the stream.
Either way. Hold on. I'm gonna quickly do this, and I am going. Oh, I forgot to say this the whole time. If cafe time, if you're trying to get registered at frozenuscafe.com, you have to let us know in the comments. It's the most exclusive Orthodox forum on the internet because you can only get in if you're already a member or if you go through the show. So that's what we're doing right now. And of course, if you want to jump on stream to ask a question or make a comment, please click the link in the top of the chat. And okay. I guess should I play some music or you want to talk about
Yeah,
something?
just play some music.
All right, I'm going to play some music. That's what I'm going to do.
I got to get some water myself.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should get water right now. I think I'll do that.
Man, this music is so groovy.
Welcome back. Sorry about that. I did get more water.
I couldn't find water. I found whiskey though.
Well, that should make the stream more interesting.
No, I don't have that much.
Okay, wait. Father Boniface is here. Welcome, Father Boniface. Benedicite.
Benedicite.
All right. So,
I wanted to say it too.
Yeah, why not? You can say Evologite, you can say Benedicite. You know, why not? Thoughts on Augustine? Did he teach things that aren't orthodox? Some examples would be the filioque, limbo, purgatory. Well, he certainly didn't advocate for adding filioque to the creed. That's insane. He didn't really teach the filioque in his writings. And in the few that are controversial, much of the time we're finding out that a lot of those are based on forgeries. He did teach the concept of limbo, but it wasn't like in the Roman Catholic sense. It's based on the traditional cosmology of the nature of hell. There's levels to it, and Gehenna is at the bottom level, etc. The term he used for the upper regions where they could feel God's presence, like unbaptized babies, etc. He used the term limbo. But that's still in the cosmology of the church. It's a Latin term, but it doesn't mean the Roman Catholic teaching of limbo. As for purgatory, no, they just made that stuff up whole cloth. You can find, the place of the dead, etc. in St. Augustine's writings, but that's not what Roman Catholics teach about purgatory. Certainly not the, get the credits for 500 visits to the Stations of the Cross or
purgation.
That's all made up. So he had nothing to do with that. That was hundreds of years after he was gone. And
didn't the Spanish come up with the filioque?
They say that the Spanish did, but we've actually looked at even the 589 Council, and we found that there were interpolations in it. So it's very possible that even they didn't teach it.
Interesting.
What about double predestination? Not sure about that one. I'm going to be honest. I should also mention I'm not an expert on St. Augustine, but do you know what he's talking about with this double predestination? Anyone?
Wouldn't that be like looking?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Father. Sorry.
That God predestines those to be elect and those to be damned.
Mhm.
And again, that denies free will. Because if God is they're not in the right order of salvation, because in Romans 8:29 says those who he foreknew, them he also did predestinate. And so to put Augustine in that camp is totally in error, because he would have held to the free will of man, and so there's no way that that he would be found in that camp.
Father Boniface, would it be appropriate to say, and I'm just asking this from like apologetics perspective, would it be appropriate to say that a modern day Protestant is repurposing what they're reading into what he's actually writing and twisting it? And
Yeah.
Okay.
I
mean,
like the Roman Catholics are now that I think about it.
They need to really give a proof text. And like I did in my one video on predestination, they're cramming the theology into these verses and rewriting the verses. And so they're going to cram Augustine into their theology and rewrite Augustine's verses, or his writings, I should maybe correctly say. So that's nothing new to these guys.
Yeah, we're going to see that again on Saturday with this whole the veiling of women concept, the burqa thing. That you're going to see church fathers quoted wildly out of context, and it's going to be quite the interesting debate.
So, would that be eisegesis?
That would be eisegesis on the fathers, absolutely.
Okay.
Jacob Clemens says, I just say that because many Calvinists appeal to Augustine. Well, sure, they can appeal to him if they misread him, but that's their choice. But
anybody
that doesn't make
can
them right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You can take.
Well, again, they appeal to Augustine, but remember, they are of the mindset of private interpretation.
Correct.
And so if they can find one father to partially agree with them, they'll ride that issue, ignoring totally the councils that even Augustine was subject to. So you Calvinists, don't forget, Augustine was subject to the church councils.
Yeah.
And he subjected himself to the church councils. That was his vow as a priest and as a bishop. So they don't even know the aspects of orthodoxy that demand that.
Well, it just seems like a lot of Protestants are poster children for the ends justify the means.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are now, it looks like, in the let me do the math here. We're now in like the 40. Oh no, I'm gonna do backwards math. You have to understand my timer, because I have an opening timer, will throw off the main timer to figure out how long we have. We have 25 minutes left, basically. Unless we what I'm just, our goal, obviously, we want, if we help keep the lights on, support us by subscribing or donating at NFT.net with various options like PayPal, Cash App, BTC, LTC, or XMR, or on GiveSendGo. Just look in the description in the beneath here. Our current goal is now at 149. We've raised 51 tonight, and the goal, as always, if we reach 3/4 of the goal and we meet 150, we'll stay on till 11. And if we can make 200, we will stay on till 11:30. But it doesn't look like it's going that way so far. But we've been surprised before.
Yeah.
So let me see here.
Especially the last
Fake
2
Bishop
minutes.
Gregory of Colorado doesn't consider him a saint. I mean.
Well, there you go. There's your
First off, that's all the proof you need. But I feel uncomfortable calling him fake bishop. He was a real bishop. He's more like deposed bishop or former bishop. But when we,
He's a
I
false
hate the
bishop
term.
now.
Yeah, false bishop, I guess. Just fake. It just, I don't like the terminology. It's tacky. David Erhan uses it, and it's tacky.
Well, is he preaching falsely now?
What? Yeah, he is. So, but
Then he's a false bishop.
but false and fake are two different things.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what I'm saying.
fake
That's
you
why I said
use for
false.
like handbags and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So false bishop. We'll go with false Bishop Gregory of Colorado. But we do consider him a saint. We consider him Blessed Augustine, and
So is the Fifth Ecumenical Council.
Yeah, that's exactly what they called him there. That the compromise is black, or though it's simply actually incorrect.
Now we need context. What was that?
Yeah, I totally need context here. Did I miss a comment or something? Let me check here. You have to give a. I think he might be talking about the. Yeah, it's simply actually incorrect. Yeah, that's true. And if we're talking about what Cleve said, or Ben.
Yeah, cleave to modernity. Yeah, that guy.
What was somebody said cleave to publicity.
Oh, that too. I mean, as many.
I forget who said. I don't know who said that. Somebody in my thing said. I don't know if it was. I think it might have been. It might have been Matthew.
I mean, he's getting all the hot topics of the hot people from World Orthodoxy. He's bam, 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 bam like that. So
yeah.
Trotting them out.
But it's nice to see, I mean, again, this isn't it's a live Q&A. It's an open forum. We welcome even challenges, etc. If you want to jump on the stream or ask a question or make a comment, just click a link in the top of the chat. If you're on YouTube, if you are in the chat on X, the StreamYard link that's there. I don't think we have a way to, but well, you never know if there's a way to, what's this? Okay. Here.
Hey, I'd like to ask for prayer again for our friend Haley.
Okay.
She is on. She now has a link on Give Send Go, and so so it's givesendgo.com, right? And then / Haley, and then FL, capital FL, like Haley, Florida, HALEY, Florida, and so. And I just asked for prayer for her and our whole situation because, it just needs a lot of prayer and help. And so she and her children. And so anyway, I'll just leave it at that right now.
Do you want that in the description, Father?
I'm actually I can add it to the description. Give me a moment.
She wouldn't care, would she?
No, I have her permission to bring this forward.
All right.
Yeah, if we can, I'm going to put it up on the screen, and also if we can talk about. I mean, this is, the circumstances are pretty bad. The husband went to. I'm looking here. Went to go work in Texas, to make money for the family, and he ended up dying there. So they have to transport the body back to Florida.
Lord have mercy.
Give me a moment. I'll put that on the screen.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, it really is.
He was diabetic.
Oh wow.
And so they've got. It's looking like an estimated cost of $40,000.
Well,
definitely.
We can trim that down if we move the funeral to another town. Okay, yeah. And so there's a lot of issues at stake, and so that's why a lot of prayer is needed because she does have some options, but where she's living is very affluent, and so costs are out the roof, and so but she has the ability to come to Lakeland, and we can have the service here and have the burial here. But all these things just need a lot of prayer because there's a lot of issues involved. So I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, it's a tragedy. He was 39 years old. He has 3 children, 10, 8, and 7, 3 boys. And so it will be an Orthodox funeral, and so anyway, there's a it's spiritual battle. It's a spiritual battle. And so I'll tell you another spiritual battle. Yeah, I had a reversal on an issue with my house where, they had this lead-based paint assessment, and I was at the first communication. I was found to be clear. I had some, but it was clearable. Well, now they've reversed their decision, and they're saying that it has to be abated. So
Oh,
the
wow.
potential of ripping out wood and replacing it, but it's been the reversal has been due to some person who says, I know the federal policy and I also know the exemptions that are allowed, and this house is under those exemptions, but this person has said, I will not allow those exemptions, which is a totally out of order, bureaucratic, and I would say personally, out of order, unlawful decision to make. And so therefore, so I would ask for prayer about that, because it's putting a wrench in the works at the moment. Maybe it'll clear. So we're hoping it will.
I've added it. I've added the Give Send Go to the description in the YouTube, by the way, so it is there. So if you want to do that, the link is in the chat. If you want to donate anything, that would be great. She's got a heck of a trial ahead of her, considering she has her children and this funeral, and they have to move the body from Texas to Florida. It's quite the ordeal, and she lost her husband, so it's really tragic. Anything
And I will,
our community can do will help.
and I will say this is that Father Stephen Allen has been tremendously involved. He has set up the Give Send Go for her, and we've got Father Lazarus and Father Chad. Lazarus Giles, and Father Chad Arneson, all have been in touch with her and have been a support to her. So, however, they're distant from her, and so it's been over the phone. But I'm a lot more close. So therefore, they they referred me to her, and she called me. This is just recent. This has only been about 5 days, and so anyway, so it's a glory to God. It's a wonderful way to serve the Lord, and we'll just see what comes of it. But pray for the children, and so hey, we'll see what develops.
Heaven rains fire said, "May God have mercy on Haley and her family through the prayers of the saints, especially the Holy Mother of God. May God help you, Father Boniface, through the prayers of Saint Joseph. Amen." I definitely agree with the sentiment there. We should raise Haley up in prayer. I'm still not sure what her baptized name is. I guess she was baptized Haley. I just don't.
I'll have to find out.
Can I point out something beautiful? Working across synods to help this young lady.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing.
Widow and mother, yeah, and I'm amazed by it. This is the sort of stuff that they don't see on the other side. They don't know.
Yeah.
But this is
they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care either. They'll just lie. But the point is, yeah, this is what true. These things are things we all have to be concerned with when somebody passes. This is what the priests of the church do. So, glory to God. If anyone, again, we are probably gonna go off stream soon because we didn't make the goal at all, and we're gonna get the losing sound, but that's okay. What we did do though is we brought some attention here, and I hope whoever's watching considers donating in that situation.
And if you can't donate, pray, please.
Yeah, if you can't donate, pray. It works. I cannot stress this enough. God is in control in all of this, and so much happens, and we can do amazing things, and this community has been doing amazing things.
Yeah.
And so let's keep it going. But in any case, so the link is into the description if you haven't seen it. If you're in the chat right now, the link is there. yeah, just donate. If you can't donate, pray or donate and
Bookmark
pray.
it if you can't do it right now because you don't have your paycheck.
Yeah, just
Bookmark it. Yeah.
anything we can do, we're gonna do. And so let's see here. Do we have any other comments? I don't see any right now. Okay, so we're gonna. This is it, guys. We're down to 13 minutes, and in those 13 minutes, if you have a question, we will answer it. If you have a challenge,
Oh,
we will answer it. And if you have a super chat, we'll take
by the
it.
way, I
But-
want to go ahead.
No, you go. You
I wanted to say one thing here. Some of the women out there, get in touch with me, or there's some one Matushka, uh, uh, Stephanie was saying that she would like to get maybe a Zoom call going with some of the women, and so we've got women all over the place that are quite spread out. I've got one in southern Florida, western Florida, and then of course Haley in southeastern Florida, and then other people maybe across the nation. I think can think of one in the past in either in Iowa or Idaho, but also for the women to connect, and so if there are any women or any of the men know of any women who could use the fellowship, please get in touch with Father Joseph, myself, and we will try and connect some of these dots so that our community can grow. So
yeah,
think about that.
I usually have things like that go through my Matushka, but I'm glad to see that there is interest. If Matushka Stephanie is interested in creating a group like that, definitely, I think it's a great idea. I will say, yeah, it's probably increasingly necessary.
If anybody has any prayers too, just put in the chat too before we log off.
That's true, because we do pray. We pray for people and so on and so forth. All right, so we are now down to the last 11 minutes of the broadcast, unless something amazing happens. I think sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay. Sometimes I'm grateful for the donations we have received today. We've received $51 for this stream, and we are extremely grateful. Plus we just announced a very large Give Send Go, so I totally get it if people are going really.
That's early in the week too.
Yeah, it's very early in the week. It's very late in the week. Early in the week, excuse me. And Thursday, once again, I'm not doing a broadcast on Thursday. I will say that. I do apologize. I have debate prep to do. I have a few other things to do. There may be an issue with the Thursday stream next week because of the debate with Elijah Yassi. I'll keep you posted, or I may change the second day and may move it to another day besides Thursday. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to say the least.
And don't forget to donate to Haley.
Yep, that is in the description, so don't forget. The good news is no one's commenting, so it's very brightly there on the chat window.
Yeah, I'm noticing Tuesdays are either really on or they're really off.
Yeah, it's one of the we got a hot or a cold day. That's all that happens, and it's that's fine. Maybe Tuesday is the one that needs to change. No, I'm kidding. Tuesdays and Thursdays they're whatever you want them to be.
Yeah.
But if you want to jump on the stream to ask a question or make a comment, you have about 8 minutes to do that. So, and that's about it. And then after that, I shall add cafe time. If you're trying to get registered at the eufrosinuscafe.com, let us know in the comments. So that's that's. But other than that, let me see. Heaven Rains Fire. How can we contact you and Father Boniface? Glory to Jesus Christ. Well, I can be reached at editor@nftu.net. I'm also on the eufrosinuscafe.com. That's again, I'm going to put the banner up. That's this thing. So if you want to join, it's very easy to. I am reachable there. Past that, I'm reachable on X. as is Father Boniface. And do you have you have an email, Father, for the church there? I know you do, but I think he might be frozen. Oh no, there he is. No, he's gone. Okay, well he'll come back, probably in time, God willing. I think. Yeah,
I know he's given it publicly on the
yeah,
stream
he's done it
before.
before. That's why I figured I'd ask him.
I think it's I think it's his full name, but I don't know if it has like periods and stuff in it or not. So
Yeah, we'll just wait. Hopefully, God willing, he comes right back.
I know it's a Gmail.
Yeah, so we're just we'll see here. Let's see.
I probably need to get onto X since you guys are on X.
Yeah, we're on X. I'm pretty active on it. I recommend it, but a lot of people don't like it. So like,
Yeah.
some people like Telegram. Some people are telling me to join Telegram. I'm like, I don't think I'm ready to join Telegram.
I just don't like social media anymore. I feel like I'm a product versus a user.
Well, I believe it or not, X has actually basically doubled our visibility on these live streams.
Yeah.
And it was actually a member of the community that actually said, can we see if it helps with growing the channel? And which it does. And he said he'd pay for a year. So
yeah,
that's how I got that.
I used to do spaces on there. Those were kind of fun.
Father Boniface is back. Welcome back, Father Boniface. Welcome back.
Yeah, technical difficulties. Yeah.
No problem. Who was
Evan
it?
Rainsfire was asking for contact info.
Right, contact info for you, like an email or something.
Yeah. Father Boniface, TOC@gmail.com.
Okay.
Whole word, Father, one word, but Father Boniface, BONIFACE, TOC, True Orthodox Church @gmail.com.
Is it Father FR?
Father?
FATHER.
Okay.
Let me
So
I'll be back. Let me confirm that everything.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Says, how many genuine Orthodox monasteries are in America? There's a couple of large ones, and most of the monasteries of the True Orthodox in America have maybe a few members each. But there's 6 or 7 of them, I think, at least. You have to look on the map. I know there's a couple of convents. I know there's a couple of monastic skeets. I know that there's Kobelsko, which is the largest True Orthodox monastery in the country.
St. Gregory's.
St. Gregory's is larger?
No. I'm just saying that's another one. It's on the west.
Yeah, and then there's St. Gregory's. There's a monastic community that's at Mountain View. There's Mother Agapia's monastery. St. Elizabeth Convent.
Yeah.
Obviously the Abbey.
Yep.
There's a few. There's a few, and there's more developing. Father Boniface runs a hermitage, but there may be people joining him soon. So we'll see. I mean, you don't know. There's a lot. I would say check the maps. Use the maps and see what's close. So I'm not sure of the number. Probably, I'm guessing maybe 10 to 12. And most of them would be small.
You got a beep.
Yeah, I was. That's actually.
Oh, it's not a give then go or anything.
It wasn't a money beep. It was a can you please help me do something beep.
Oh, sorry.
And I'm like, sure, in 4 minutes.
I got excited. I was like, come on, guys.
So was I. I was like, oh, yeah. Like, cash out. And I was like, nothing. Just like, okay, give me a ride. I'm like, I don't mind giving a ride, but I was kind of hoping it was cash out. Anyway. All right, let's take a look here. And let's see here. So, yeah, I think that answers the question. I would say about 10 to 15. But most of them are small or hermitages, etc. But they do exist. But you have to use the map. Use both maps. I always use both maps because that gives you the maximum number. You get to see all of who's available. All right.
It'd be cool if you could overlay the two maps.
I'm not sure if they're made by 2 different people or they wanted to keep them separate. I'm not sure. But I don't have anything to do with either of them. But I was considering that. But if I made like overlays of the maps, then I'd have to maintain them, and the problem
Yeah,
is,
yeah. That's a
because
lot of work.
otherwise it would just not update, and that leads to all sorts of other problems.
Yeah.
In any case, let's see what we got here. Just double checking. I don't see much of anything here left.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone has like 1 minute left to make to ask a question, make a comment, etc. We are now in the 58th minute of the second hour,
We're
and
still waiting for
so
Father's email.
yeah, huh?
Father Boniface was double checking his email.
Oh,
Yeah,
was that
it's whole word, yeah, whole father, whole Boniface, TOC@gmail.com. That's
okay.
it.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
if you want it letter by letters, FATHERBONIFACETOC at Gmail, right?
Yeah, TOC
At gmail.com.
at Gmail. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Once again, it's let's see here. Almost done here. So whatever you can do, keep Haley and family in your prayers. Whatever you can give as well. This community you guys are just the best. Like honestly, like we have the best people. We have I'm so grateful to God for you guys.
I agree, and I'm so grateful for you and for Reader John and for everyone in our community. It's just wonderful, and
No,
really, with the prayers solicited for Haley and things like that, they are desperately needed, and y'all have a really important ministry to her in the situation, and it will have an effect for sure.
Well, you're definitely spearheading that, Father, and there was obviously a lot of other priests involved from different jurisdictions, and they're all
Yes.
coming together to help. Let's keep it going. But in any case, time for me to read my script. Thank you to everyone. To, of course, Reader John and Father Boniface, who are always here to help. To any of our listeners, to those who had questions, those who had comments, and to those who support our mission, support the channel. We at NFTU need your help. Support us by subscribing or donating at nftu.net or on GiveSendGo. We remember all of you in our prayers, and thank you all for the support for NFTU. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe if this has been helpful. Through the prayers of Holy Fathers, through Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us.
Amen.
Have a good night.
Amen.